Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Colleen and this channel is called Our Silver Moments. And we do have some silver moments where we forget things and things aren't just so, but so far you've been forgiving of those small faults and you've been super kind, and I really appreciate that. Something that I wanted just to speak briefly about today is this wonderful little gift that I got in the mail. And it started off when Christmas was around and the Canadian mail strike was on, and this sweet woman named Lona wrote us a Christmas card and included a gift to Colleen and the truck driver, and this made us chuckle. And she was watching one of the videos where we were making Brussels sprouts and cream corn and so forth, and she mentions that. And then she picks it up again in the middle of March, recognizing that the strike now is over and she was able to send these things on. So she made us each a pillowcase, and I think they're just so fabulous I have to show them off. So here's the one with the little trucks for the truck driver. So well made, and the fabric is so wonderful. And then here's one for me, which has got all kinds of beautiful things on it, mushrooms and butterflies and hummingbirds and moths, and it's just fantastic. And again, so well made, and I appreciate all the effort that you put into these. They're wonderful. They came attached with a little card that says, I don't think you can read that from that far away, but on this side it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart." And on the side facing you it says, "This case encircles your pillow. Jesus' love encircles you. Blessings." Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's such a meaningful gift. And then she included these little cards. Be encouraged. Fully rely on God, and there is a web link to follow, and when you follow the web link there are some wonderful encouragements to be found there, and I will link this in the description box below so that if you need some encouragement in your life, as I think many of us could use right now, it will be there for you to use. Thank you, Ella. Thank you, Lona. I appreciate your gift very much, and I've been saving it here on the kitchen counter for the past week. We haven't used them, just so that I could share it online, and we really appreciate the little gifts that we receive. I'm sorry I don't show them all, but this one was extra special, so thank you. Now today I'm going to be working on a super fast recipe. It's so fast that today I could take the time to show something like this off and still manage to make a video that was 10 minutes, because 10 minutes is kind of the minimum amount of time that you want to make on a video. The longer, the better. The more segments of 10 minutes that passed, the more ads that YouTube puts on the video, and I get paid on those ads that I have no control over. Anyway, I'm going to gather everything up, and we're going to make today what are we making? We're making a cabbage roll casserole. Not your traditional roll it up casserole, a cabbage roll casserole. So I'll gather everything up and be right back after this. Okay, to get started, I've put my electric skillet just off to the side here. Hopefully it'll help to dull the noise a little bit. I have 1 pound of lean ground beef, and this is a spot where you could use a medium grind, I think, but my store where I shop normally, they don't seem to have medium grind very often. They have either regular grind or lean grind or extra lean grind. And extra lean is just too dry, too crumbly for most dishes. In fact, I'm not sure where you would use it, where you'd have a good result with it. Anyway, this is lean grind, It doesn't say what the percentage in here is, but anyway. There we go. I'm going to put that into the frying pan and get it going over there, and then we'll come back and work on these veggies. Now I've got the meat going, but I realize I haven't started my oven. I'm going to need it at 375 degrees. While that's started, I'm going to dice up a few things here. Maybe I'll dice the onion first because I want it to go into the mixture with the meat here pretty quick. And I'll let the meat start to brown good before, well I shouldn't say brown, but lose its pink color before I add the onion. This onion looks like it's been sitting around a little too long. Take off another layer. There we go. Now we're down to good stuff. Now it's starting to look a little more like a small onion than a medium one. Set that aside for the compost. A little onion skin going on there. Our grass is starting to get green, and we haven't had any snowflakes in the pasture. So that's great news. Also, some great news for us is that we are today officially just 6 weeks away from a 2-week vacation. We're going to Europe, and we are all very excited about it. And as a result, I'm not sure that I'm going to have enough time between now and when we leave to put up videos for you for the time period that I'm gone. And if I don't get to those, I hope that you'll be understanding and find me again when I come back and get back at it. There's a lot of last minute details to take care of. We're going to Spain, a place we've never visited before, and we're going with a large family group, brothers and cousins, and everybody. All of us are excited about it. Traveling together annually as a family, this is my husband's side of the family, started a couple of years ago, and then we didn't go, I think, maybe the first year that they all traveled together. That last year we went for a week with the family to Mexico. We had a great time, and we were there for a week, and we came to the understanding that we actually enjoyed traveling together. We had tested the waters a little bit, because you never know how it's going to go, or what people are happy doing or not doing. Do you want to be in each other's pockets the entire time, or is it okay to go off on your own? Things that you question if you're traveling with other people. And we all seem to fit quite comfortably together, and I think it's going to be a great time. I'm going to stir the meat, and then I'm going to add this onion. Now I took the time to break that meat up, because it is, quite clumpy, quite big pieces. Now I'm going to add the onion and give it a good stir. Keep this going. There we go. Now, I feel like I should have put that garlic in something, because I'm not quite ready to put it in there yet, but I want to get started cutting the cabbage. Now we need, for this recipe, 8 cups of cabbage. And I have my 8-cup measuring, it's almost a bowl, this 8-cup measuring cup over here. And I'm happy to use that today. You would not have to do this if you were in a bigger hurry than I am today. You could buy the packages of pre-shredded coleslaw at the grocery store and use them. I'm not sure how much is in a bag, but it's got to be 4 to 6 cups. You wouldn't need more than 2. This cabbage cost me just about $6. So depending on the price of the cabbage in the bag, or the coleslaw mix in the bag, it might be just about as cost effective to do that and save yourself even more time. So let's get this going. It won't take too long to go through this. I want to make the pieces at least, bite size. So if you pick them up with your, scooping them on your fork, it will actually sit there and not, hang off the edges, because it makes it a lot nicer to eat. Pardon me, eat that way. And I can smell the browning on the meat, so it's time to give it a stir. I use my nose a lot in the kitchen, and my ears. For instance, I can hear that the meat's getting quieter, which means that it's cooked most of the moisture out, so it's probably cooked. I can put the garlic in there now, and I'm going to continue cooking this. But the meat is cooked. So let's add the other things that are going to go into that mix right now. Okay, now the recipe calls for 1 15-ounce can of tomato sauce and 1 8-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, but I don't have either of those things in my cupboard at the moment. But never fear, I have a jar of sweet basil marinara, which this is 16 cups. So that takes care of the tomato sauce, and this already has some spice in it. What's in the pan? And I have a jar of homemade tomato sauce here. So I went and got another jar, then I didn't have to wrestle quite so hard. So I need half of this, and I know you can't see, but it's quite dicey in there. So I'm going to put half of this in there, and that will make up the amount of sauce that I need. And I've made a mess. Wouldn't you know? Need a little kitchen towel to fix this. And let's put the lid on and move that out of the way. I'm going to give that a stir. What else needs to go in there right away? A few things. But let's stir this first. I've stirred that up. Now it needs a few spices. So I need 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. I could probably bring that pan back over here so you can actually see me pour it in, but I'm sure you're going to take me on my word. And I need 1 teaspoon of thyme leaves, or thyme. I also have ground thyme in my cupboard, that's why I'm telling you the difference. Maybe you do too. Ground thyme I find a little more potent. I would use half the amount if I was using ground thyme. And that goes in the pan. And I'm going to put in a half a teaspoon, I'm just going to shake this in, about a half a teaspoon of black pepper. And about a half a teaspoon of table salt. Let's get that out of the way. I need 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, a tablespoon. And I need 1/4 cup of brown sugar. That goes in there too. Now I'm sure you could use something other than brown sugar if you chose to do that. Maybe you have a favorite sweetener you would use instead. Now let's go back to this cabbage, because we have a ways to go here to get 8 cups. But as I said, this really takes no time. It could take much less time if you're using the bags of cabbage. But that's not what I'm doing today. Oh, here's our oven up to temperature. You know, it's hard to cook without making noise. I find myself apologizing all the time for the noise, because when I play the video back while I'm editing, I can hear how noisy it is, and I feel bad on the other end. But I think for the most part, all of you understand that you can't cook without making some noise. So it doesn't look like we're going to need an awful lot more. A couple more cups and we've got it. I'm just going to stop and take a minute to stir. There you go. Got it all stirred up. Should have turned it down while I was there. Well now, because I think we have just about reached what we need to here. So this is a pretty frugal dish too when you look at it overall. I mean, if you've got your own canned tomatoes and so forth, it would be even better. I think those Classico tomato sauces that I got were on sale, and they were $2.99 a jar. And you know, it's hard to put a price on your home canning, because I think I canned that tomato sauce 2 years ago, and just made a lot of it when I did, and I bought 50-pound boxes of Roma tomatoes to make the paste, so, or make the sauce. So I made all kinds of sauce out of it. Okay, just going to chop up these stragglers, and it didn't even take a full head of lettuce, as you can see. And there, all the prep work is done. Now, I'm going to bring this over here. Let's get that guy out of the way. I'll bring this over. I did make a bit of a mess with this cabbage, flying all over the place. Here's my skillet. Now, we need to add to that. Oh, let's do this first. I'm not even sure there's spray left in here, but if there is, it never hurts to spray when you're using the sauce in a pan, because it helps with cleanup afterwards. We need 1 cup or thereabouts of pre-cooked rice, and we cooked this yesterday, and this is leftover rice. So pretty much any time we're cooking rice anymore with the 2 extra bodies in the house who are both rice eaters, we make extra, because somebody will eat rice with something on it the following day for lunch. So we make the extra. It's really handy to just have it in the fridge, and then it's just a matter of them popping it in the microwave, and boom, they have a meal. Now, we're going to take half of our cabbage, and it's going to go in the bottom. And I'm not going to be particularly precise about this, but I'm pretty close. I'm sure I am. Pack it in the bottom. Now we're going to take half. Let me see how accurate I can get this. About that much. Half of the meat mixture. And we're going to spread it on the top. And spread it out as much as you can. Remember that as you cook this, the cabbage is going to shrink a lot. So it's also going to be self-saucing, because it will let off a lot of its juice. And so keep that in mind. I made this once before where, I don't know if it was like a particularly wet cabbage that had sucked up a lot of juice or not, but it ended up coming out more like soup than it did like a casserole, which was fine. We served it in a bowl because, well, we're not fussy like that. And we certainly aren't going to throw out perfectly good food. Okay, now we're going to put on the rest of the cabbage. And then the rest of the sauce. There we go. Now the rest of the sauce goes on. You can see how easy this is. And you could make this up ahead of time and refrigerate it overnight, and then just bring it out to the counter and warm it up at room temperature the following day, and then cook it according to the instructions. And the instructions say that we should cook this 45 minutes in the oven, 45 to 50 minutes. I guess I hadn't shut that off all the way. And in the last 10 minutes, we're to uncover it. We're going to cover it tightly with foil. We'll uncover it and let it cook for the last 10 minutes uncovered. Now, something that you wouldn't normally see, I think, on a cabbage roll is cheese. But as I'm going away, I feel like I want to use up the bag of cheese that I have in my refrigerator so that it's not wasted. And so I'm going to top this with cheese. Because, you know, normally casseroles have cheese anyway, even maybe not cabbage roll casseroles, but most casseroles do. Okay, we're going to call that good. Get rid of this. Got that bag of cheese I was talking about. Probably, if you were going to add cheese on purpose to a dish, you would probably choose something melty, something like a mozzarella, but what I have here is medium cheddar. And I just thought, oh, there might be a cup in there. So I'm going to chop it. Chop it with the cheese. And as I said, the only reason I'm doing that is to use up the bag. But most people enjoy cheese, so I'm sure this won't be a hardship for anybody in my house. Okay, now we're going to put some foil on that. We've got so much muck going on here, all over the place. What do I do with my dish? I'm going to clean this up a little bit. And I'm going to get the tin foil. Now, I'm going to get the aluminum foil. Last night I was watching an article. I've always called it tin foil. And I've had quite a number of you correct me on it and say, it's not tin foil, there's no tin involved. It's aluminum foil. And so this little knowledge, pardon me, this little knowledgeable video popped up and said, are you old enough to remember tin foil? Apparently I am. And it explained in the little message how in the beginning when they were covering food, they were using literally tin that had been flattened and came in basically like a book, and you ripped out a page and you could cover food, and it was quite a useful product. And then in later years, because the tin, when it touched the food, caused a transfer of the tin, so that when you ate the food, you had a tin taste in your mouth. So in order to solve that, they made aluminum foil. And the foil is poured, a big bunch of aluminum is poured into basically like a big brick, and then it's flattened and flattened and flattened until it gets to the right thing. They roll it onto the rolls. The one side has more friction on it than the other side. So therefore it gets shiny on the one side and not on the other. Who knew? That's the reason why we have aluminum foil that's shiny on one side and dull on the other side. And it also answered the age-old question in the video about whether or not we should have tin foil in or tin foil out. And would that make a difference to the cooking? And no, it doesn't. There's no perceivable difference in whether or not the shiny side is out or in. In all these years, I thought there was, and I've been going tin foil in, because I didn't want to reflect the heat away. So anyway, that's been debunked. And who says old dogs can't learn new tricks? Here I am proving it today. Okay, this is going to go into the oven for 45 minutes, 45 to 50 minutes. I'll check it with a fork to make sure that the cabbage is tender. And I will take the top off for the last 10 minutes. And that's it, folks. I'll bring you back when it comes out of the oven. Well, it smells like a cabbage roll. And it's certainly set up really nice. It's bubbling away. My goodness, I'm pretty pleased with the result. Obviously, this cabbage that I used this time in the dish didn't contain as much moisture because it's not soupy in any way. Like any casserole, you don't want to cut it for maybe 5 or 10 minutes just to give it time for, you know, the meat that's inside and the vegetables and so forth to draw back in the cooling juices. But I think that this is a beautiful casserole. I'm happy to have shared it with you here today, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope that you could see how quick it could go together if you did a bit of chaining the way I did today with the bottled sauce. And I want to encourage people to not be afraid to experiment with recipes like I did with this one today. You can substitute things back and forth pretty easily if you stay, you know, somewhat within the lines. And I look forward to eating this dish. I will, now that I've talked a minute, maybe I'll get a flipper. And I will try and show you a piece of this. Well, it didn't come out in a piece. And I'm not sure that it really would have, even if I'd left it a little bit longer. But I knew I had a fork in my hand. What did I do with it? I just wanted to make sure that I checked the cabbage about 5 minutes ago, just before I took it out of the oven, in fact, to make sure that the cabbage was cooked all the way through. Because all the other components were. It was just the cabbage we needed to cook. Perfectly cooked. Not mushy, not crispy, somewhere in between. And of course with cabbage the stocky parts are a little harder, but this is still, it's perfect, and it's a very, very tasty dish. Oh my gosh, now I have my mouth full. Folks, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I hope that you'll do that. That would be really helpful. And if you've enjoyed today's video or any of my videos that you've watched in the past, please give me a thumbs up or a like and comment. I try to get to most of the comments. There's a lot of them usually, and I really appreciate it, and I love to learn where you're from. And I look forward to bringing you more recipes really soon. Until I see you again, folks, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.